Hi, everybody. Hello. Welcome to Magical Sabbatical. How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? What a fun couple of days it's been. Happy belated Mother's Day. Even though we were together, I was online and in the group a lot yesterday, so I saw a lot of you. But if I didn't get a chance to wish you a happy Mother's Day, I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day now. I hope it was a beautiful day for you and those that call you mom, whether those are fur babies or human babies or any other kind of babies, skin babies, amphibian babies. Um, I'm a new mom to a fur baby. So it felt like I had already been through the infant days, and now here I am back. It was a beautiful day in my world. It was a really simple day in my world. My request was I wanted Dave to barbecue because he's really good at it. I wanted a really good organic, gorgeous hamburger from home, and I wanted to take my kids to this nursery, and so we got to do those things. It was really special. It was very, very simple and very relaxing. So I hope you had the same thing. So tonight we have a lot to talk about. No, we still haven't finalized his name yet. And you know, this isn't like me. I have had animals all my life. I mean, since I was born. When I was born, we had animals. And it's always just been like, oh, there you are, you know, Bella, or there you are, you know, all the different cats and dogs and everything that we've had. It's the first time that it's not totally clear to me. My husband thinks we should call him Blue because he literally, the vet said his face is literally shepherd and husky. And so he has one shepherd eye, like a brown eye that tracks you almost like a dinosaur. And then he has one kind of goofy husky eye. Yeah, I was like, what about like a real name, real person name, like Joseph or Michael? I don't know. But anyway. Yeah, if I was home right now, he'd be on my lap too. He's a lover, so we've had a lot of fun. So just make sure if you're having sound issues, make sure that you're not hearing me from multiple places. A lot of times, a lot of you have different tabs open and you don't realize that you're getting an echo because you actually are trying to listen to me in two different places at once. So make sure everything is closed. The sound on our side is so good now. You really shouldn't be having any audio problems because we've done all kinds of internal microphoning and things like that. So you should be fine. But if you're hearing a reverberation, that might be what's going on. Aww. So Jenna said that they have a peacock that's been visiting her, and that her daughter named the peacock Kevin. You know, it's not a very peacocky name, I have to say. I don't know how Kevin feels about that. I don't know that many peacock moms have looked at their babies and said, that's Kevin. You know what? That's him. I like it. I think it's kind of funny when we anthropomorphize, you know, when we attach human characteristics to animals. And so we anthropomorphize when we give them human names. And I think that's really funny for whatever reason. Like when I see a dog named John or Charles or Richard, I just think that's hilarious, especially if they're small, like a little Chihuahua named Richard. I don't know why, but I think that's like the funniest thing I've ever seen. Okay, so here we are. I want to show you. So here's what's going to happen tonight. Are you ready? I'm going to show you a few things. This is almost going to be like a Sage Goddess QVC, but there's just a few things I want you to see, and I only get to see you once a month. So I want to make sure that a few of these things are on your radar because you guys have 18% off right now. We did a fun little sale just for you. I try to do things like that because you guys are the inner circle, and I try to do things to make you feel special. And so your code is sister right now, and that's for Sabbatical and Illumina. You're saving 18%. So I want to make sure you know all the juicy stuff while your code is active. There's nothing worse than finding out that there's stuff you want after a code expires. So I'm going to show you some things, and then tonight we're going to dedicate our Ask tools. So for the dedication and the invocation, and by the way, I'm going to talk to you about why we're using these tools in case you didn't hear me talk about that earlier, or you know, you didn't hear about my thought process in designing these tools. So you need this tonight. You need your Ask tea light holder. You need your Ask perfume. You need your Ask stones at a minimum in order to charge your tools. Okay, I've got a lot of things on my trays here to show you. Your new tools are in the shop, and so I highly recommend buying them now I can tell you there won't be any more codes of this size for the rest of the month. So if you want to get your sabbatical tools and save almost 20% on them, and keep in mind, we have really tried very hard. I think you guys know this. Sabbatical tools used to be $75 a set. We have brought them down to $49, and that's before your discount. And I honestly think the tools this year are far superior to anything I was able to bring you before, because now we are able to make all of these custom items and import these essential oils that we didn't have before. So I just want to really invite you. So when the sabbatical kits sell out this year, they're not coming back. We aren't able to do an additional batch of the tea light holders. And the essential oils that we imported for the perfumes, we imported them just for the set. So if you want your sabbatical tools, you have your discount code. I think we did it through tomorrow. So just to make you aware. And then here's why I designed them. This is what's really special about them to me. I really believe whether it's in your backyard or in your house, you need to create a pathway for yourself, some kind of symbolic path that represents both your learning journey and your intention journey. Okay. And so I have it's very small, but I have a little meditation garden at my house. It's actually on the side of my house. So it's just a little unused space, and I've made it kind of sacred. And so what I'm doing with mine is I'm making a path from the front of that I probably have about this much space. So I'm making a path with my stones from this year. And so the idea is that once you have all of them at the end of the year, you will have an entire path of these winding words that represent the work that you did this year. And then what we're going to do at the end of the year together, I'm actually going to do it with you live from my garden, is we're going to do a ritual, because we're going to light each one each month. At the end of the year, we're going to go through and we're going to light them all right around winter solstice time. And so it'd be really cool if you could light your path with me. And so it's going to be an illumination ritual. And I think it's really special. Again, it's been in the works for a long time. In fact, we started ordering these in 2016 to make sure that we had them for 2017. So anyway, your Ask kit. I don't know if there's any Ask kits left. Does anybody know if there's any Ask kits left? I think there might be, I don't know. I'm not sure. And if it's not your time, by the way, and it's not your set, that's okay. Here's what you should know. There's only 600 sets, and there's, I think, 1,100 people or 1,150 in sabbatical. I barely have enough for half. And I feel bad about that, but I also know that exactly the people who need them will get them. If you can't get one, don't feel bad, because there aren't enough for everybody. Are there some left? Okay, cool. So if you want the Ask kit, especially after tonight's rituals, I'm going to be teaching you about the oils and stuff, and it may resonate with you. You can always go back and get that with your discount. Okay, so that is your new kit for Believe. The new kit for Believe, by the way, is Heart Chakra. Your art is Heart Chakra. Isn't that beautiful with your affirmation, when I believe, the universe affirms. The notes for your perfume. I've got all my paperwork scattered sort of all over the place. Hold on. Bear with me. Oh, here we go. The notes for your perfume. This is the one that has the new sandalwood. And it's pure essential oil. It's not sandalwood synthetic, okay? This is one of the most beautiful sandalwoods I have literally ever smelled in my life. It's incomparable to anything else. And it has turmeric. So this is very much about empowerment and healing. Empowerment and healing for your heart space. The stone, one of the stones in here, clinozoisite, is almost impossible to find. This is a transformation stone, and it transforms the heart chakra to heal old wounds. And so in addition to 1,000 other things that clinozoisite does, this is the first time we've ever had clinozoisite at Sage Goddess, and we saved it all for your kit. So it's kind of fun. You're getting something. You're also getting a huge chunk of raw emerald. Look at the quality of these gorgeous raw emeralds. Isn't that beautiful? So you're getting a big piece of that. That would be another really beautiful stone to wire wrap and wear. And then you're getting your chert, which is a very sacred, very important ceremonial stone. In fact, a lot of Native American ceremonial tools are carved from chert. So, and then here's some other things I want to make sure you know are in the shop. And then we're going to charge our tools, and we're going to get into a discussion of journey to debrief tonight. So that's kind of our order of operations. Okay, cool. Well, Erin, we're just getting started. Erin asked what she missed. So I'm showing you the new sabbatical kit, which is in the shop today. You have a code for 18% off for about the next 24 hours. And so you can almost save 20% on your new set. So I want to make sure you know that. There's nothing worse, I was saying, than when you find out there's a code after you've shopped. So I want to make sure that you use it for your set. I have to ask this too. Please don't share that code. I know that you won't, but that code isn't for the public. And so it's only for members of Sabbatical and Illumina. Nobody else knows about it, and I would prefer it that way. Okay, so here's more for you that I want you to see. So we have our Benzonite palm stones for manifestation. If you're doing any kind of manifestation work right now, this is the time to get this stone. I don't always have the palm stones in stock, and they are $19 before your discount, our Benzonite. We have the sunset citrus blossom or sunset blossom aura. It's like a sort of a golden color. If you're doing any manifestation work or solar plexus work, this is a beautiful one to have. And I actually really recommend wire wrapping this sunset or citrus blossom. It is so beautiful, the yellows and oranges. And we won't have more of that. So once that's all gone, we're not going to be restocking that. And the citrine hearts. I don't know if you guys saw these. We have small and medium. These are natural citrine. These are not heat treated. How beautiful are those? I would take this. In fact, I'm taking one to Sylvia because I want to see if she can make it into a necklace for me. I would have that made into jewelry. I mean, that's gemmy citrine. Isn't that gorgeous? So again, here's the small. Super sweet. I mean, this would make a nice pendant size too. But then here's the medium. Is more my taste. You know, I don't know what you prefer in terms of size. So the small is $29 and the medium is $39 before your discount. Again, it's citrine, but it's gemmy and it's natural. I can almost never guarantee you with citrine. That's why, and anymore, I don't buy citrine from anybody unless I can guarantee you that it has not been treated. It's important to me because a lot of people are trying to do manifestation of prosperity and they can't do that with amethyst. And then the other thing I want to make sure you know about, because this would go really well with this, is the clear quartz with epidote. Aren't these gorgeous? So these are still in the shop. We have small and medium. The small is 17. This size is the medium size, and then here's the small. Aren't they beautiful? Epidote is for manifestation. It brings more of what you desire. So let's talk about my necklace. Are you ready? Okay. The journey was intense, and I took this necklace into Journey. This is danburite. This is danburite. Now mine is treated, aqua aura treated on my necklace. Okay. So danburite is one of the Synergy 12. It is a master healer stone, and I have not been working a lot with it, but I felt very, very, very called to take this necklace into Journey. When I was in the Journey, this stone, I was being shown this stone as being a stone for the community to work with. And it's funny, it was almost like the guides were taking me back to it to remind me how much it unlocks, especially old wounds and old trauma. And again, I had not used danburite in a shamanic journey context before. It was very, very, very powerful. So what I did when I got back from the Journey this weekend is I made sure that we had danburite in stock. And again, we have pieces the same size in stock right now, and these are pink. The pieces that we have are a very light pink. You could take these. We can wire wrap this for you. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. Or you could take it and wire wrap it. Aren't they stunning? Look at those perfectly beautiful clear crystal. If you don't have danburite, we're going to link to it and put it in the sabbatical classroom. I'm so passionate about it right now after my Journey experience. I have a gift. So on top of your discount code, I hope this isn't getting confusing. This is tumbled danburite. I really want you guys to all have it, even if you don't have a large piece of it. So if you place an order using your code while the code's active, if you say danburite in your notes or Journey, either danburite or Journey, I'm going to send you a free piece so that you can at least begin to work with it. It's hard to find. Danburite comes from Mexico, and there is not a lot of it. And finding pieces, beautifully clear crystals this size, honestly, it's getting harder and harder and harder every year. that I go. A lot of these are twins too, which is very cool. You find twin terminated pieces. This one has a second piece growing off the back. They're cool pieces. Okay, so if you use your code and you say Journey or Dambarite, you're going to save almost 20% and get a free stone, which is really cool. When this comes, when your little Dambarite comes, and size doesn't really matter, this needs to go right in the bra. Okay, no joke. Let this be your bra stone and wear it in your bra every day. And then tell me how you feel. Isn't that cool? So this is Dambarite. My long necklace is Dambarite. And because I wanted you to have it, I'm gifting it to you. It took me all day to find this and put this together for you and find the Dambarite and make sure it was all in stock. So hopefully I'm still catching you in time. And I also have a giveaway tonight from the Journey, which is a piece of beautiful Lemurian quartz that was charged during my shamanic journey this weekend. I know. If you stopped wearing bras, put it in your underwear. In a safe location, you know, somewhere where it's not going to fall out during a special moment. Okay, but again, I don't have enough, just, you know, I don't have enough Dambarite for everybody outside of this group to have it too. So it's just you. Please don't share code sister for 18% off. Please don't share Dambarite because I won't have enough for people. And then people get upset, but you know what? They shouldn't get upset. You're special. I mean, you are. So you get special things. Okay, so we'll talk more about Dambarite. We'll talk more about all of these things. I do want to begin. I'm just going to send the selenite around the circle. I do want to begin with our tools. I think it's really important for us to dedicate these tools to the work that we are doing. So gather your tea light holder, your Ask tea light holder, get your perfume, get your crystals, get your stones. Now you know that you have a crazy rare stone in your Ask kit, right? Smithsonite. I'm trying to put one really crazy special stone in each one of your kits. And again, we don't have Smithsonite. This was just for you. It's this beautiful lavender colored stone. Smithsonite, I use Smithsonite for a lot of different things. One of the things I use Smithsonite for is to connect with my guides in dream time. When I sleep with Smithsonite, I always get guidance. And so if you want to start having a deeper connection with your guides, especially in the dream state, one of the ways I do it, it just works for me, is I put my Smithsonite inside my pillowcase. And that tends to work for me with tumbled stones in general. If they're this size, I mean, obviously if you've got a big honker tumbled stone, you don't want to put that in your pillowcase. And if they're too small, you know what I mean? Like if they're too small, they kind of just fall out. But anyway, put this one in your pillowcase. You will have more meaningful dreams. And one of the things I do when I use Smithsonite is I always ask a question. And you can write your question down too. It's really fun. It's fun to start experimenting with your stones and seeing how they affect your dream time, your sleep time. It's very powerful. So you can start keeping a record. Tonight I'm sleeping with Smithsonite. Here's the date. And the question I'm asking of my guides before I enter dream time is, and write your question down. And then the next morning, document what you saw. And you may, here's the thing, you may see and hear things that don't seem like they're answers to your question, but they are. And sometimes, here's what happens to me. Sometimes it's only in hindsight when I go back, you know, even weeks or months later. I like that. Cynthia says she tucks the questions into her stone pillow. It's so beautiful. Yeah, so the Smithsonite is either going to be a light lavender or mint green. That's like the family of colors of Smithsonite. So you could have gotten yours from the lavender side of this one actually has the mint green on the front. You can actually see the other color in the center. So it masquerades a little bit as either the mint or the purple. They have the same metaphysical properties though. So yours is still a Dreamtime stone to work with. For me, now you may find it brings you all kinds of other things too. There are healing properties associated with Smithsonite. It is known as a physical stabilizer. Both of emotional energy and physical energy. So it's good for people who have tremors. A lot of people with tremors love to work with Smithsonite, or people who sometimes have a lot of vertigo. Anything with a lot of movement, it's a stabilizer. Oh, how cool. So Nicole got a light green piece and hers has a lavender spot on it. It's like the exact reverse of mine because mine's lavender and has a light green spot. We're like little twins with our pieces together. Look, the one thing I can say is I am a temptress. Sometimes you have to just not look. But on sabbatical nights, I usually have something kind of special for you. I try to do something that is unique and special for you. And you know, it's really my mission with Sage Goddess, of course, is to bring you stuff that you've never seen before, like where you go, whoa, what is that? Or where did that come from? Or, you know, what is that about? I like the new and the interesting. That certainly does make it difficult when you're on the receiving side of it. Yeah, the yin and the yang. And a lot of people have, you know, tremors, you know, issues with neuropathy. That's just a lot of that in my family because of the different disorders that tend to plague the women in my family, a lot of osteoarthritis and things. So smithsonite's a good one for that. And that's the rarest of all your stones. Now, the golden labradorite is a willpower stone. I used golden labradorite this whole last, you know, 9 months when I've been trying to reorient myself and get into better shape. And so golden labradorite helps you say no. Do you want a second piece of cake? No. Because remember, all labradorites are about new beginnings. All of it is, you know, whether it's golden or the silver or black, all labradorites about new beginnings. But this one is a new beginning relative to your own power. So this is about willpower to say no to things that aren't in service to your higher good, right? So that's why I love working with golden labradorite. I'm sorry, I confused you. So then my smithsonite is green too. I was talking about thulite. My mistake. Although you do have purple smithsonite in the mix of that bag. So if you have a purple piece, you're not alone. This is my smithsonite. This is my thulite. Okay, so thulite activates the throat chakra to help you speak your truth. And that's a very important thing. It's funny because it's not a like throat chakra colored stone. Usually the stones we associate with the throat chakra are like that robin's egg blue color. And then you have, you know, this stone, which is purple or pink. You get a pink thulite too. And so it doesn't really look like a throat chakra stone, but it is as powerful as amazonite, if not more. And thulite anchors you. Thulite anchors you in that truth. And so what's really helpful about it, and I'm going to talk about this tonight because one of the themes that came up in my journey was truth, and how much we anchor our truth in other people's reactions to us. And I'll talk more about that. That might not be clear, but a lot of us gauge what we think is right and true based on other people's reactions to the things that we do. And then when people are judgmental or when people have a different experience, you know, sometimes we'll change our perspective to accommodate theirs. And part of anchoring your power and part of, you know, moving deeper into sovereignty is really not letting your beliefs or your understanding of what's true, you know, be so affected by everybody else's perception or their opinion. And I think but we struggle. I mean, candidly, I struggle. Do you struggle? You know, it's hard when you hold a viewpoint that others in your life are just so strongly against. It doesn't happen to me very often, but it happens. It happens sometimes with spirituality. It happens sometimes with politics, of course. And just to reiterate, so your smithsonite is either purple or green. Your thulite is purple or pink. So a lot of you got green smithsonite and purple thulite. Or you got purple smithsonite and probably a pink thulite, but those are going to be the different colors. Yeah, the golden lab looks just like citrine. But if you look closely, if you held this up to a little piece of citrine, you can see slight differences. Sometimes this one will go a little more like white and clear in places, and the color, the yellow and the golden lab will be a little less consistent than a citrine sometimes. Sometimes you find that. Anyway, and so here's the kind of one of the main messages of the journey. Are you ready? And then we'll charge our tools. It's all related. I mean, tonight's work, everything is relevant to everything else. So, you know, one of the main things we have to think about is when people respond to us spiritually, a lot of times they are responding not as their current selves, but they're responding as who they were in a past life, because we, as spiritual beings, as you know, beings, because all of us do this, whether you're spiritual or not, we mirror to people things that trigger them, not just from this lifetime, but we mirror to them things that trigger them from past lifetimes. And I think what happens for a lot of us, and the journey just made this very clear for me, I think what happens for a lot of us is when we're experiencing someone's experience of us or their reaction or their processing of us, their projections of us, we always assume it's something that's happening with them right now. We don't often look and say, is this 1,000 years old? Whatever this is that's coming up, is it 5 years old or is it 500 years old? And I really do believe that that karmic work, doesn't it explain a lot? And I'm curious, I mean, Lisa and Annalisa and those of you who work with past lives and hypnotherapy, because they both do, I'm curious if this resonates with you, because talk about a paradigm shift, girls, okay? And like I said, I mean, and I don't know if this is just obvious to you, and maybe you've always thought about it like this before, but I have to admit to you, I'm not sure I've thought about it like this before. And so just kind of like, you know, taking a moment to receive someone's reaction, and recognize that maybe it is so old, and it still can trigger you. I mean, if they're coming from a past life of their own and they're triggering something in you from a past life, that can still feel very present. I mean, that doesn't mean that there's like time or distance or anything else to help you with it. But it's deep, right? I know. Pamela says it has her thinking now. That's what it tweaked me a little bit for a minute. I ran some, you know, just experiences through my mind over my lifetime, and I thought, yeah, you know what? Whatever that wasn't new. And, you know, here's the other thing to keep in mind, just in terms of like managing people's perceptions, right? I was talking to somebody today in a kind of a coaching context about this whole idea that perception is reality. And I think that's true. You know, like that the most important thing you need to think about is not really so much who you are with people, but how they perceive you. That's a very common kind of coaching concept, especially, you know, for people who are, you know, trying to, you know, develop their own personalities or develop their teams or whatever. We talk a lot about perception. But you have, I mean, usually when we talk about perception, we're talking about what's happening in this lifetime. We aren't often talking about the fact that people may know you as something very different than what you are today. And the challenge is, I mean, thank God we have very talented readers who can give us some insight into those past lives, but can you imagine? I mean, what if you encounter someone that you did harm to, and you're not able to consciously process that, and yet they're reacting to you from that place, right? That's possible. You may encounter somebody that harmed you, which is, I think, a lot of times why we're automatically afraid of someone. You know, it's like you see someone and you just kind of get the cold chills, right? And kids are good at this too, by the way. Kids are good at this too, because kids have almost a much cleaner ability to read humans than adults do, because they don't have as many filters they're trying to push stuff through. You know, we have filters like, is this really real? Am I making this up? This is a nice person. Why am I so afraid? I need to work on not being afraid. You know, like we're doing all of that. Meanwhile, kids are going, that's a bad person. You know, like they're not trying to process all of that. So anyway, yeah, I'm just reading your comments. I mean, everything that you're saying is very, very true and real. It's very, very true and real. Okay, so some of you are talking to each other. I won't try to respond because I'm not exactly sure which conversation that is. But all to say that was one of the messages of the journey. The other message of the journey was this, and it's a very interesting one. And I brought it back from my team because it was the mantra throughout the entire night. And the mantra was, held to a higher standard, bathed in a different light. Held to a higher standard, bathed in a different light. Held to a higher standard, bathed in a different light. Held to a higher standard. And it was like that the whole night. And if you sit with that mantra, if you sit with that concept, held to a higher standard, bathed in a different light, and really think about what that might mean for you. And sabbatical came up in that whole part of the journey. Sabbatical came up. And what was coming up around that whole phrase was, it's harder for us sometimes. It's harder for us. And I don't know that we always acknowledge how much harder it is for us. And part of it is we are held to a different standard. Have you felt that way? I mean, I'm looking at a lot of you that I see you living this higher standard in your life. I really do. I look up to you, all of you, because I see you. I see how you, a lot of you I'm personal friends with on Facebook, but even in the group, I see how you act. I see how you react. I see how you take care of each other. I see how you try very hard not to get mired down in assumptions. I see how you're aware of karma and you think before you respond. And you know, I see how you're delicate even in what you choose to share. And it's because you're held to a different standard, you know? So a lot of us, you do that for me. I hope I do that for you too. Like we sort of inspire each other and keep each other accountable. And we all also try to mirror to each other this whole idea that you're held to a different standard. Now, what they were saying in the journey, and again, this isn't, when you journey, it's almost never just for you. And it's really very much a shamanic process of, you're supposed to bring wisdom back. And sometimes there's things that unlock just for you. There certainly were parts of this journey that were about clearing some stored energy and some blocked energy, actually from a childhood challenge, and it wasn't what I expected to see. So I did have my moment where I was worked on for sure. But there is definitely a collective. There's definitely a collective energy around, really wanting to figure out how to support you, because you are held to that higher standard. The benefit of being held to that higher standard and having to live to that standard is that you are bathed in a different light. When people say, what is it about you? It's different. Or what is it about, or with Sage Goddess, why do the stones feel different? Or, when I work with a tool from you, why is it different? Or your clients will say, well, when I receive Reiki from you, it's different. Or, when I receive a massage from you, it's different. You are bathed in a different light, is what they said. And don't you think it's true? And what they said was, there are a lot of people who want to be bathed in that light, but they don't want to be held to the standard. And that was loud and clear this weekend. And so that's a choice, because it's not always easy to be held to the standard. There's lots of times where it would be a hell of a lot easier not to live to the standard, right? And sometimes you don't. I mean, we're all human. Sometimes you make mistakes or you do something that, isn't in alignment with the standard that they expect you to live up to, and they sure do hold you to it. Have you ever been held to task? I have. And I've always just been grateful for it. In the times that it has happened to me where I have not lived to the standard, I've always just said, you know what, thank you. I'm still grateful. I'd rather live to this standard and be bathed in this light than not live to it and not be able to receive it. And that's it. And it was really funny. Are you crying? My husband and I were watching something yesterday. It was a show. And they said this quote that I've heard a million times: marriage is a choice you make every day, right? It's not just a choice you make the day you marry somebody. It's the choice you make every day for as long as you stay married to that person. And I think that's really true. Marriage is really hard. If you're not married yet, choose wisely. It's very hard, because we're all human. So I was thinking about that quote, and I'm like, you know what? That higher standard is a choice that we make every day. I choose to live there. That's right. And Lisa says being held to a higher standard is difficult, but not living up to it is harder. And it is harder. And some of us really don't feel like we have much of a choice, honestly. I mean, every time I have tried to, especially as a young person, I haven't really, moved away from my spiritual path at all as an adult. But as a young person, I kind of rebelled against it. And it's funny because, did I have a choice? Every time I tried to sort of move away from it, it would pull me back in like the Godfather. And it's like, I don't know that I had much of a choice in this lifetime about living to that standard. I don't know about that. Yeah, so you have to. So you are perfectly imperfect, and you're going to make mistakes. And when you make mistakes, and however you think of mistakes, right? When you don't live in alignment with the higher standard, they will take you to task. So whenever I hear somebody say, I want to, be a shaman, or I want to be a spiritual leader, or I always just take a big step back, kind of, because I look and I say, you're going to be held to a different standard, but you'll be bathed in a different light. And what that different standard looks like, I think there's some consistency. There's like a universal aspect to it. And then I think it's also a reflection of your own karmic work. You know what I mean? I don't know I would love to know your thoughts on this, by the way. Yeah. Yeah, and I think for me that is true. They echoed that again this weekend, that this is it for me. So I do think that maybe that's why for me there's an extra layer to it. It was very so. Let's do our tool work first, and then we'll come back to that. Okay, so Ask perfume. Did you like it? I think it's primarily that ginger lily that comes up in Ask. And can I tell you, I hope that you love it, but can I tell you that ginger lily for autoimmune is one of the most powerful. It's a strong antioxidant. It supports the immune system. It can help to balance your hormones too. I mean, ginger lily is another one of these just miracle workers. But whenever I work with it, I feel like, because I have autoimmune issues that affect my central nervous system, I just feel like it just lifts me up a little bit, you know, because you can find, if you have any central nervous issues, you can find that your arms and legs get really weak. So anyway, if you love it, I'm glad. It's also a really powerful tool to work with for your health. Okay. So just anointing. I'm going to put a little bit on my third eye too. Alemi is an oil of intuition. Very powerful essential oil that activates the third eye, the pineal gland. So Alemi, when you smell this, and it's old as time, so your spirit guides recognize Alemi in a big way. Okay. Do you love it? It was special to me to make this for you. And the tea lights are poured with it too. Okay, so the intention for your kit, just so you know, is that these are the steps to sovereignty. Sovereignty is our theme for the year. And by sovereignty, what I mean, and this is specific to Magical Sabbatical, the intention for Magical Sabbatical this year is that you will step into a model of power for you that is highly sustainable, and that you will work with energy in a more effortless way. And we've been talking a lot about quantum mechanics and the holographic field. We're going to be talking even more about that in the month to come. But we've been talking about these alternative energy streams. Is anybody here new tonight, like hasn't been in any of our sessions before? I just want to know. So we've talked about energy streams, and we've talked about making sure that you understand what energy streams you're aligned to, and understanding that all matter is energy, and understanding that all energy is connected across space and time. And so there is a more effortless way to live your life and work your magic, truly, than a lot of us have been doing it for a very long time. And the biggest part of what you need to know is that when you are sovereign, when you feel centered and grounded and aligned in your power, when you set intentions from there, they're different. You know, they're empowered, they're fueled, they're anchored, they have something to connect to. And I think that's really important when we're talking about intentions, because again, intentions are energy. And they are seeds. You know, when you plant them, they grow. But, you know, it has to be a good seed that is fertilized and in beautiful soil in order to grow. So everything matters. Your intention matters. The context matters. All activating these energy fields and really focusing your intention on effortlessness too. I want to kind of like move past this idea that in order to be sovereign, we have to work harder. I really don't want to work with that energy stream. I want to work with the energy stream that says in order to be sovereign, we have to work more effortlessly. We have to work more energetically. So that's kind of been, well, Shannara, how nice to see you. How cool. So we have to be more intentional in our process this year about not working harder, you know, not spending more time, not investing more energy, but lifting up and understanding that we can always call upon our guides to help us, that we can create holographic energy patterns to support us so that we have multiple ways of engaging and supporting people. And that as we expand our energetic profile, power becomes ours more effortlessly. We're automatically able to attract more because we've expanded our energetic space. Does that make sense? And that is where quantum mechanics comes in. You know, this idea that we can call in an energy stream and then send it out into the world. And truly, this is quantum mechanics. This is quantum theory. It's entanglement. And so you call in an energy stream of love, you send it out into the world, you continue to vibrate with it. And so now, instead of your focused love energy being in one place, you've actually created two streams. So you're creating double the love in the world. Does that make sense to you? Does anybody need me to repeat that? I want to make sure I'm not losing you. So you call in, and let's say you're trying to manifest love. So you call in an energy stream of love, and you connect with it, you channel it, you light a candle, you anoint with love oils, you're raising all these levels of correspondence, you blow that candle out, you connect again with that energy stream, and then you release it as a hologram to the universe. Now there's two of you. There's two of your essence vibrating in alignment with that. Now imagine calling in, can we play for a minute? Can you imagine calling in 100 energy streams for healing, which would include comfort and, I mean, gosh, we could call in anything, right? We could call in ease of movement. We could call in release of pain. We could call in clarity about our, what's happening in our bodies. We could call in, and for specific symptoms, so we could call in, comfort in our joints. We could call in, comfort in our hips, wherever you wanted to call that in. Call in all of those healing energy streams, bundle them together, raise energy around it. And you can do that by using a wand. You can imagine bundling all your energy streams and then calling in, with a double terminated wand, calling in energies of manifestation to center that. And that's what these stones of your kits are about. Okay. And then release those energy streams. Now you've sent out 100 energy streams for healing that are going to vibrate. Now, here is the caveat. Are you ready? And this is where, as with everything, you have to really think through what you're doing. When you release those energy streams out into the universe, you also need to release their direct connection to you, okay? Because otherwise, think of them as cords, and they're still gonna pull on you. And at the end of the day, you've got 100 energy streams out there for something that can start to make you feel quite overwhelmed. And so what I like to do is send the holograms out, and then I like to imagine sealing the pockets in me where they were released from. So if I'm sending out love energy, I just imagine sealing the pocket in my heart. If I'm sending out power energy, I just imagine sealing that pocket in my solar plexus. Does that make sense? And so now these are operating, and you have to set an intention. I send these energy streams out into the universe so that they may serve those who need these energy streams. I allow them to connect to me, but not with me. I allow them to receive my intention, but not to hold my own personal energy. And so that's why you seal up the energy space where you release them. But they're still operating. And then here's the other caveat. At some point, you either have to deactivate them or recall them. You have to bring them back. You don't want to leave energy streams out in the universe indefinitely, okay? So you have to keep track. That's the other caveat. So what I do is I kind of keep track, and I try to do just one set of work at a time. So if I've got energy streams out for healing, right now I don't, but if I did, I wouldn't send out additional streams until I recalled those. And then I can send out an additional energy stream for this, and I can call it back and deactivate it. Then I can send out another energy stream, block it, deactivate it. Another energy stream, block it, deactivate it. That's my process. Now there are people who don't do that. Okay, so they just send and send and send and send all these energy streams out, and they're okay with it. For me, if they are calling, from my personal energy field and I haven't kind of closed them off, I feel drained. Does that make sense? Okay, Jules is confused. So I want to make sure I'm totally clear about what we're talking about. So let me explain it one more time. So energy exists in the universe, and it exists in these streams. Okay, so there's healing streams, there's love streams, there's clarity streams, there's anger streams, there's frustration streams, there's sadness streams. Okay, and we've talked about this before in previous classes about how you have to choose like what you want to be in alignment with. You really do have to choose. And so that's a step you have to take. And so you decide, okay, I want to call in energy streams of healing. That's the example I'm using. So you can call in one of those energy streams, or you can call in 100 of them if you want. And by the way, this is just my process. So you could totally choose to take this and customize it to meet your needs in any way that you like. This is just kind of the world according to me. And it's also because here's a big secret, okay? It may not be to you, but a lot of people don't realize this. Think of your energy as a pie, okay, as a circle. Like this is your energy. You have to think about how much energy you are sending out versus how much you are working with within. I'm a big fan of keeping a lot of my energy intact within rather than spreading it so far. Now, this applies to everything in my life. I have a circle of very, very, very good best friends. I don't have, 1,000 women I spend time with all the time. I don't do that. That would be too much of this going to that. And I'm even teaching my kids that, like you need to have a tight circle, even online. I spend more time with you guys than I do in the other groups. This is the energy that I have, and I want to spend that energy wisely. So when I'm sending out energy streams, okay, whatever they are, before I start sending out even more energy streams, I kind of like to call the other ones back. And really rededicate myself to the work, set up a new altar, think about moon phases. Do you know what I mean? But some people, it's like, it's like a circus where the monkey has all this stuff in its mouth and it keeps coming or whatever. Some people can do that energetically. I just can't. And so I can't do that, and I can't, and at the same time achieve my goals, because what you create in the world is an energy stream, and this much, too much of this going in one direction means there's not enough of it to go in the other direction. And so you end up having to make a choice. I don't like having to make choices. Instead of either or, I'm really a fan of, both and. And so I'd like to be able to, write my book and still be able to, support women online, right? But I can't, if I just gave everything to everybody in the same way, I wouldn't have the energy I need over here to do this thing. Does that make sense? It's trade-offs, right? Trade-offs. You know what might be really fun for you? Again, I try to give you like little exercises or suggestions, because some of you like to do homework. If you hate homework, then don't do this. But you know what might be really fun for you to do tonight? Sit down and make a list of all the places your energy is going. Show me this. I mean, if I were coaching you, that's the first thing I would do. If you came to me as, my old coaching days and said, Athena, I am drained, I'm exhausted, I'm grumpy, I'm frustrated, I would say, are you menopausal? But other than that, I would say, let's write down your energy streams. Let's figure out where your energy is going. There is some kind of tear in your matrix, and it could be a person. I mean, some people are just garbage disposals for energy. I mean, for God's sake, can we be honest about that? Some people are just garbage disposals for energy. That's right. Well, self-work is homework. Yeah. No, but for reals. I mean, some people are, and yet you can't flip the switch and drain it. You know what I mean? With a garbage disposal, at least you can flip a switch and make it all go away. People, you can't do that, so it's like there's no way to purge. But there are definitely people who just, the more you give, the more you have to give. I mean, it's not like there's an even exchange. And so I want to advise you. I'm becoming more and more selective because I have to about where I spend my energy, and I really want to encourage you to do the same thing. And if you saw your energy as a gift, I mean, seriously, this is important for us. Absolutely. If you thought of your energy as a present, as a gift that you gave to someone, that every time you spent time with them or interacted with them, if you thought of it as a gift, like from your heart, like I'm giving my time and you're so important to me and you're precious, if you really thought of it that way, you would be more choosy with it. I think a lot of us look at it and think we owe people our energy, but if you thought of it as a gift, which it is, I mean, it is. When you expend energy on me, I feel loved. So that's a gift that you are giving, truly. When one of you guys likes a picture of Zoe, or I don't know, comments on something, I feel loved. And that's a gift. But I think we've gotten so used to, Cheryl says she's a garbage disposal. Oh, honey. We all play that role sometimes. There are always times in life where we take. But sometimes you need to take. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need to take. But for me, it's people in my own family. We've talked about that before. If you love, so Delphine says, what if you love gifting? If you love gifting and you're not drained, keep giving. But I would say a lot of people in my life that I can point to are tired and they're frustrated and they feel resentful. Not of me, but I'm just saying people that I see, and people online, with their posts and people's things and stories and everything. I mean, customers, right? They're getting resentful because they feel like they're pouring down a well, and they're getting frustrated and upset, and rightfully so. But there's also a sense of responsibility and accountability, right? It's like, stop pouring down the well. I mean, at some point you gotta just stop. and it's hard. Okay, so here's a quick blocking tool. Not blocking, it's really not. In fact, it's not that, which is why it works. But let me take 1 minute to tell you about this little strategy. So when people are draining too much of your energy, or sending low vibes or whatever that is, as a general rule, they are there because they're teaching you something, okay? And you don't want to, karmically incur any kind of debt by just banishing them, because here's the reality. You don't fully know why people are in your life, and sometimes it takes decades to really reveal what that is, right? So I have a little visualization that I use that sort of moves these people off stage in my life, but doesn't remove them and doesn't silence them. So they can still be there as teachers, because a lot of times what happens is if you think about your life as a theater, okay, if you've ever gone to the opera or ballet or anything big theater, there's a stage and there are people in the stands, and a lot of us don't even realize that we're putting people on stage who shouldn't be there, people who don't have our best interests at heart. But if you think about how much you think about people, and you use the time you spend, the amount of time you spend thinking about them as a metric, you're giving them stage time. And like, why are you doing that? Who are you giving stage time? It should be your family and your friends and your sisters and your kids and your people who love you and make you feel held and supported and nourished and seen. Like, they should be on your stage. But a lot of us have some shitty pickles on stage with a microphone. I mean, they're not just standing there, they've got a bullhorn. So what I do is I invite them off stage, boom, 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 boom. And then they go up in a little seat up here, and then there's a little velvet rope. So they're still in my energy field. They can see me, I can see them, but they're not on stage. There's nothing, I mean, again, who's on stage? Boom, 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 boom. Boop. Bye. I'll see you later. Okay, so there you go. Now, coming back to our purpose today, and then we'll have about another 5-10 minutes to talk about journey, and then there's going to have to be a part 2. Yes, well, and Heather said, you know what, her brother's been a shitty pickle, but she needs to be involved, and so that's the thing. And that's the thing. So, and if you don't know, like, if you really want to remove someone's energy, you can do that. In my experience, it incurs karmic debt. But so I don't remove people, but I sure do invite them off stage. And if you're not sure who needs to be taken off stage, ask your guides and give them permission to remove them from stage, and they will do it. Kelly, girl, this is better than therapy. Let me tell you, as someone who had a lot of therapy for a long time, and I have quite a few therapists in my groups. I mean, come on. Soul work is therapy. It is therapy. That's right. The guides are your bouncers, Nicole. That's actually my favorite quote of the entire day, is Nicole's quote, that guides are my bouncers. That's seriously brilliant, Nicole. I just want to reach through the screen and kiss you right now. Okay, so the intention for this year, let's bring our energy and our focus back. The intention for this year is that you will take the steps to sovereignty in your life. And we're about to do something really important, okay? So I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to, because you're going to ask a question, okay? I can't tell you what the question is. You have to ask the question yourself. But you are going to ask a question tonight of your guides, and you can ask them about anything. You can ask them for anything. But your question needs to be about what you want to manifest this year, okay? What we are doing for the next, especially the next 3 months, ask, believe, receive. This is the manifestation cycle. And nothing about the timing of this is accidental, okay? And so we are beginning tonight. Ask is the first step. And what you will always hear me say for however long you work with me is that the guides are there, but you have to ask. If you don't have a kit to work with, light a candle, Okay, it's not exactly the same, but it will get you through the ritual with us so that you're still experiencing the same concept with us, which I think is really powerful. Okay, so asking a question tonight in line with what you want to manifest is what you need to do. Now, the questions could be something like this. Who do I need to attract this year to help me manifest my goal of, you know, whatever it is? Or could you please, you can ask the guides, could you please send me all of the resources I need to manifest my dream of opening a new flower shop, whatever it is that you want to create. That's not my goal, but I used it as an example. Could you please send me the human resources, the financial resources, the spiritual resources to open up the flower shop of my dreams? If you're not prepared to ask right now, you can do it tonight, okay? So you can just watch me and then you can do this ritual later. You can also just say, guides, could you please come closer and make yourselves known to me this year? A lot of you have wanted to have a closer connection with your spirit guides. Whatever it is that you want your spirit guides to do or create or facilitate or send or offer, tonight's the night. Okay, this is your tool. Okay, you guys have any questions before we begin? So it's a great question. Amelia says, can I ask more than one question, or is that greedy? I don't think there's any such thing as too much in the universe. The universe created everything that we see around us. When things feel like they're too much, it's usually because your human capacity to experience and understand is overloaded, and you start feeling like this. But the universe really doesn't know the concept of too much. Okay, that's a very human construction. So I don't know. Ask two. But I would like you to focus on one goal for the year, because I think it'll be easier for you to track it, you know. So it's like, instead of saying I'd like to open a flower shop and move to France, that maybe we focus on the flower shop. Again, those are not my try not to manifest that right now. So Melinda, just light a candle, stay with us, light a candle. Same process, okay? And you know, use whatever candle you have, truly. And then if you decide you want to go back and do this, there's still a few more of the ask kits from the original. If you want to, because what we're doing, what everybody's going to do is create a path in their garden with the 10 stones that represent the manifestation cycle, as well as the path to sovereignty. So every time you go out in your garden, or you can do this on your altar too, you can line them up on your altar in a beautiful pattern. Every time you light them one by one and then blow them out, you can use that as a manifestation ritual, which is very cool. Okay, you ready? So I want you can say your question out loud. You can hold it in your mind. I want you to speak your question or think your question now. Just hold it in your mind. If you'd like to put your question in the feed, of course, we'd love to hold space for you. But I actually encourage you, as you know, to keep your magic a little quiet. I've told you this before. The more people who know about what you're doing, the more energy is dissipated. And especially if they're naysayers, that's going to lower the vibe. So if you've got naysayers, especially, but even if you don't tell everybody about your magic all the time. You don't need to. If you knew what was happening behind the scenes here at Sage Goddess, you'd come out of your skin. I can't talk about it, and I don't talk about it because it's too much magic. So keep some of it to you. Okay, did you write it down? The universe is your genie, that's right, but you have to work with the universe with caution. Okay? When your question is clear, and I'm going to ask mine, so give me a minute, okay? I'm doing this right with you. I'm so excited. I have a good question, too. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? We did it. So Guides, Great Spirit, we come before you tonight as a sisterhood, as a collective. I come before you as the one who holds the container. I love these women with all my heart. I really do. They are as much sisters to me as my own blood sister. And we come to you tonight with an open question. I ask guides, guardian angels, archangels, diva spirits, ancestors who've moved to the light. I ask that all of the questions of the sisterhood be answered with clarity in perfect time, and that each of her needs be met in the most perfect and beautiful way, in alignment with her soul's purpose and in a way that reminds her that magic is real. I ask that you bless the heart and the mind and the soul of each woman in this circle. I ask that you lift her up and inspire her and remind her how powerful she is. I ask that the ritual work that we do together bless her in every possible way, financially, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, on all levels and in all ways. And not just her, but everyone that she knows and loves, and so that the energy of this circle ripples out 1,000 miles in all directions. And so with faith, with gratitude, with humility, with appreciation, with love, with patience, with understanding, with compassion, with joy, with faith, we say, Amen, Aho, and so it is. Amen, Aho, and so it is. And when you're ready, all together, yeah? We are setting these wishes, these questions up to the universe to be answered in perfect time. Together now. I love that smell so much. I love getting it out of the candle too. Okay, so what I recommend, here's my recommendation. Choose one of the stones from the trio. Choose the labradorite, choose the smithsonite, choose the thulite. The labradorite's really speaking to me right now, so that's the one I'm going to work with, and I like to put it in my bra. Choose one that you're going to really connect to. That's why I gave you 3 options. I'd like you to have it with you every day until we light the next candle. And then I would like you to retire that stone, but keep it visible on your altar. And at the end of the year, we're going to do something special with the 10 stones that you chose. Okay? So choose one. Choose one that you love. Might be hard because I really love them all. They're like this beautiful kind of warm, pastel-y, powerful, and very rare, very unique. I mean, a lot of these are probably stones you don't have. I don't have much of it in my collection either, and you don't see them much at the shows. So enjoy, but do choose one. And enjoy your evening, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with me. I will continue the ayahuasca conversation. I do want to share with you more of the insights from that journey, which was very powerful. Like I said, the main themes were you do need to recognize that you are held to a different standard. And what that means is sometimes you'll be judged more harshly on a spiritual level. But the benefit is you are bathed in a different light. And so you get nourished in different ways. I do think it keeps us healthier and happier, but we have to be in alignment. And so this year is really about you figuring out, A, what's going to bring you into deeper alignment, B, what is it you're trying to manifest, and C, what support do you need to create that and to feel like it's sustainable and that you can not only do it, but enjoy it. You know, I mean, that's the key. So just know that you're loved. We have a lot of work together left for the rest of this year, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. All right, see you soon. Much love from my heart to yours. Don't forget code SISTER for 18%, and don't forget to say Danbarite or Journey to receive a free piece of this from me. It's got good energy from that journey. I think you're going to love it. Oh, and those of you who did Shaman Song, the perfume that is in that kit is unreal. You have something coming to you that's off the charts. So just get excited. I will really be looking for your feedback when that comes to you. It'll be coming soon. I'll see you guys soon.